So interestingly enough, I'm getting a lot of messages on social media in regards to the real estate exam, how to pass it, strategies, whatnot. Mostly these people are 17 to 19 years old. You go figure, right? The reason I haven't made a video like this is because there's a lot of content out there that's already put in place in regards to the real estate exam. I was just wondering if you've even looked at those videos before. So I'm guessing you want to know about my experience, and I'm willing to share that. And also, in anticipation of other people reaching out to me for those very reasons, I created this video just so I can maximize my time and leverage the power of YouTube. So right into it, I got licensed again in August, and then signed with a brokerage in September. However, the licensing started in April of 2017. It took me 54 days to complete all the courses, another 2 months for the state to process my test date, which they kind of messed up on. And then I passed my test first try, flying colors, yippee, right? So just so you know, I'm licensed in the state of California. Most state exams, or most real estate exams across the nation, are roughly the same, but each state has its own intricacies, and I'm not there to talk about that. I'm just here to talk about my experiences in passing the exam for the first time, the strategies that I used to study, and who I learned from, right? So April 2017, I was still in high school, senior year. Got a lot of stuff going on because, senior year is when a lot of stuff pop up, right? I took an online real estate school, and the reason I did that is because of my schedule. There was no way that I'm going to head into a real estate school 5 days a week, stay there for 1 to 2 hours just to study it, for a test. I was doing already enough of that in my senior year. So I said, screw that, take an online school, do it on my own time, go at my own pace, and spend less money, because online schools I think are typically less expensive. I use Real Estate Express, link in the description below. Highly recommend it. That's all I'll say. Go check them out. But the way I studied is this. Typical school hours are between the hours of 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock. My school ended around 12 because I finished most of my classes by then. But then I'd work part-time until 7 o'clock at night. So my schedule was packed. Here's what my schedule would look like. Wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning, go through my exam, or go through the licensing courses for at least an hour and a half to 2 hours. Get ready for school, get to school, come home, do all my stuff, get to my part-time job, which is around 4 hours in length. Got home 7 o'clock, and I would study after doing all the other things that I was doing outside my real estate exam stuff. Get all that stuff done, spend another hour to 2 hours going through that stuff, right? So roughly I'd spend at least 2, 3, 4 hours a day going through all this material. You don't have to go at that pace. You can go at your own pace, but I had a deadline that I was operating on, and I wanted to get licensed super fast, right? That's how I was able to get it done in 54 days. Most people take 5-6 months. I took a month and a half, or 2 months, right? Now, going over the material, the strategies that I use, 2 things. 1 is the actual real estate school, and 2 is YouTube. YouTube is like the universal university, right? Anyone can learn from YouTube. So that's something that I'm going to talk about. But first, the real estate school itself. Being online content, going at my own pace, I mass consumed all this information. Meaning, I read every single section, read every single definition, read every single word to the T, because I want to make sure that I was not missing anything that could be on the exam. That was my fear. It honestly was. I didn't want to have to come across something on the exam that I didn't know about. And maybe there were a couple questions, but I don't remember too much. But that was me. People learn differently, and it's unfair for me to tell you how to learn for this exam, just because everyone's experience is different. However, I did not want to leave anything to chance, right? I learned it through reading. I learned it through listening. I learned it through watching examples on videos, anything that I could come across, right? Because I pretty much told myself, there's no way I'm going to fail this exam. That was my mentality heading into it, right? In addition, I'm going to link a channel below that goes over the exam. The whole purpose of that channel is for the real estate exam. So Prep Agent, if you're watching, shout out to you. You're awesome. I believe you're the reason why I passed the exam. So go check them out, right? So in regards to the actual school, just memorize all this information and understand it and go so far as to master the topic. I believe Gary Vee said it before, where your memorization for the purpose of regurgitation is not actual learning, or something like that. Assuming that most of the people watching this are within the ages of 17, 19 years old, you're probably in high school or school doing something and you hate it. This is probably why you're getting into the real estate business. Let's be honest here. But I'm going to warn you, and this is probably the most important point of this video. Memorizing for the sake of regurgitation for the test, meaning you're just memorizing it and doing it for the test and then forgetting about it afterwards, is the wrong mentality when it comes to learning. Learning is taking this material, going over it, understanding it, and mastering so that you have the ability to teach someone else this information. You're a better real estate professional when you go about it this way. You know, don't be the person who just wants to memorize it, and once the exam passes, you forget about all this information. That's how you fail at an exam. You have a harder time learning information when in the back of your mind, you know that this information is useless, which is pretty much why people have a hard time with school. They know in the back of their mind, or they have this preconceived notion that things are useless in the classroom, which is why they never learn the stuff in the first place, and that's why they fail, right? Do a little bit of self-reflection on that part, right? So with that side topic aside, learn for the sake of mastery. It makes you better and it makes you pass the exam. Because here's the thing, the exam itself is going to be different than your real estate school. The questions are going to be worded differently. It's going to look like they're speaking a different language. But the more you read this content and the more you read it in different formats, the more you'll understand this information and the more you'll be able to master it, right? It's kind of like reading a second language. First of all, you got to interpret all the words. And once you interpret all the words, you can come up with a way to comprehend it. And once you comprehend it, then you can provide an answer to the question. That's how it really goes in the exam, right? But simply put, memorize it, understand it, master it, right? That's the school part. Now, YouTube was an awesome resource. I can't explain how awesome it is. The reason why I use YouTube is because there are some parts in the real estate school that I didn't know about, that I couldn't understand no matter how many times I read it. And YouTube was my solution, right? Again, link in the description below for Prep Agent. Awesome dude. He even has his own courses you can pay for, but the free content was enough for me to understand the parts that I didn't know about in the actual exam itself, right? So that's that. But that's my entire experience. I mean, it was simple, it was straightforward. The test itself, I'm not going to tell you if it's easy or if it was difficult. Everyone's experience is the same. And giving you my expectation or giving you a wrong expectation of the exam is not really a good thing to do. So, but I will say this though, and I'll repeat it again. You got to understand this material and master it. Mastery, again, means you being able to teach someone else this topic. And the reason why I say this is, you know, you're going to be a little confused when you first come across the test. You're going to think to yourself, the real estate school didn't cover this stuff. The real estate school didn't come up with these things, right? But you're actually wrong. The real estate school did actually go over this stuff, which is why they're accredited, right? It's just you are not able to interpret the passages and connect it to the stuff that you learned in your school. Why is that? Well, it's probably because you breezed through this stuff and you didn't understand it and master it. That's it. That's how you pass the exam. That's it. You master this stuff. You go through all the content you can, you read all you can, you watch all the videos you can, and mass consume all this information. And to do it in the quickest amount of time possible. The longer you take to do something, the more you're probably going to forget, and the more dreadful it's going to be when it comes to learning this stuff. I'm going to tell you, it's not fun. It really isn't. It's a pain in the ass. But the faster you can do it and the more driven you are and the better the intentions you have when it comes to learning, the better your chances are of passing the test. So hope this helps. Do me a favor, like the video, comment in it, because I know some YouTube algorithm puts me on the top of the list, but do what you want. Let me know if you have any other questions, because my purpose is to help some people out in this business and who are getting in this business with this channel. So hope it helps. Subscribe, comment below, like it, do what you can. I'll see you on the next vid. Take care.